This episode of the Grand Rising Show was brought to you by Autochthonous Assembly, where the real work gets done. Autochthonous Assembly is a gathering of the minds that do the work. Now, for many of our first-time subscribers and first-time visitors, you may be wondering who Autochthonous Assembly are. You can find this information about our mission statement and our core values on the website at autochthonousassembly.com/about. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to raising up Indigenous American voices by using genealogy, also known as family history, or your family tree, which is the study of families and the tracing of their lineages and history. Genealogists use oral interviews, historical records, genetic analysis, and other records to obtain information about a family and to demonstrate kinship and pedigrees of its members. Our core values are the foundation of our company, which is essential to our success and serve as a lens through which we evaluate every business decision. Those core values are, but are not limited to, integrity, which is knowing and doing what is right; respect, which is treating others the way you want to be treated; responsibility, which is embracing opportunities to contribute; and servant leadership, which is serving the common good. Now, at Autochthonous Assembly, we have a couple of goals here. And our first goal and foremost of the reason why we do everything that we do is to ensure that we help you do your genealogy and connect back to your tribe and find out where you are from. Everything that we do from the standpoint of the Grand Rising Show and all the information that's posted on the website is dedicated to that one specific purpose: helping you find your genealogy, find your relatives, find your family so that you will know exactly who you are. And if you choose to, tie back into your tribe, whether that tribe is a Native American tribe, an American Indian tribe, whether it's allowing you to determine which house in Africa that you belong to, or what clan of Scandinavia or Europe or France that you belong to. Either way, our goal is to do just that: help you find out who you are so you know exactly where to start. We are not here to tell you who you are, and we're not here to tell you who you are not. We're just here to help you discover your beginnings. Another one of our missions is to help you become financially independent so that you can help your generations for the next 7 generations and be able to put a stable foundation for you and your relatives. And if you should choose to use this information that we provide free of charge to help not only yourself, but your community and your tribe, then we will do everything in our power to make sure that gets done as well. And remember, our goal here is to make sure that we help you get exposed to this information to put you in the best situation possible. So now what I'm going to do now is return it back over to the panel to see if there was anything I missed, and I will go ahead and get set up so we can get ready and get digging into this information. Panel, take it away.
Warning, warning, warning. Hard hats, pickaxe, shovels, boots required.
Grand Rising, everyone. Grand Rising. Hope all is well. Peace to the active chat, the silent majority. Peace to the panel. How's everyone this rising?
Peace, 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 peace. I think Gabrielle is opening up with the technical difficulties this rising. Grand Rising, peace to the chat.
Oh my!
Bro,
I heard me. I was okay. So Grand Rising, Grand Rising. I am well. I'm talking the whole time. Everybody chimed in on cue. Oh. That's crazy. Okay. Can y'all hear me?
You can be heard.
Okay.
So how was everyone's night? Anything interesting?
Oh man. Yeah. We got to be on it.
Who did it? Who did what?
I'm re-listening to yesterday's show. And then I wind up watching a little bit of a documentary and did some researching and clicking and Googling, talking to Google for a minute. Same to me. It really doesn't.
Yeah, it had that effect on you. The more and more you read and the more info you come across. Other than that, everybody good?
Yes.
Huh.
I was able to, because I like to sometimes Google what businesses have built. So I was looking at different designs for community gardens and different, above ground plots and whatnot they have. And I'm looking at these different designs and I'm like, man, I can build that myself. And that, cutting wood, designing that just for the community garden. Just come up with the measurements.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Double Cousin for the motivation.
Oh, Grand Rising. Shout out to Giovanni.
Shout out to Giovanni. Shout out.
She said Grand Rising. Did somebody ask me a question? What happened?
You okay? Hold on. Am I on? Okay, no, I'm not on mute.
All right, sorry about that. I had a call come in. It's like they got perfect timing or unperfect timing. All right, not yet. Not call them.
I know
you opening up the show. They need to start calling the show line. They're gonna keep calling. Ask your questions here on the panel. I've been saying the email and the number all this time. Stop calling Bones. Call the show.
I know you live. Saw that you was live. I don't want to really interrupt nothing.
But let me pull you away from the show. No, all the way over here. Click over.
All the way over. All the way. Not half over.
Exactly. Clicked over. We had Wachovia.
So how?
You was mentioning about yesterday's episode. So, how did you feel about it? Especially going through the 2020 elections and how important it is this year, knowing how many seats are up for grabs and potential of redistricting.
Oh, that redistricting. Even I know you're using the word potential, but I'm just gonna say this. Okay, I'll speak about.
Hey now, don't use no names.
Yeah, I'll just speak about locally. So I know that in the area that I'm in, there's already been some rezoning, and I've looked at the rezoning that's under not rezoning, the redistricting that's under negotiations based off of the census that is coming up. And I looked at the date that this was posted for this area, and this is the redistricting was posted over a year ago. So this was already what's the word? Not
going down.
Yeah, this was already predicted. This was already something that was put in place. Like, okay, this is what's going to be happening. It's not just rezoning, but also redistricting. So that stuff, that's really happening. And to see that the census, everything is tied together. Everything. It's all tied together. Like there's no confusion for me anymore that, okay, the yearly census, the 10-year census, I put it to you like this. To see that it's not just Congress, legislative, president, city council, governor, to see that it was also tribal. Like everybody's going up for election. If it's an organization, if it's establishment, if it's what is it called? The 3 branches of government. I have a better understanding of what is included in all 3 of those branches of government, if that makes sense. Everybody is affected. Everybody is counting numbers. Everybody, whether you participate or not, elections happening on all different levels at the same time. So it's one of those things, get down or lay down. That's just my perception. I mean, that may not have been a good, that's just how I take it. It's just, it's deep, it's heavy. And even down to the tribal elections, how it also affects redistricting or rezoning of land, with the city expanding or not expanding, whether a city is going to be this a numbers game, it's a money game,
it's a participation game.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And it's one of those things where me personally, I've come to, I guess, an understanding or a knowing that if you're not participating, you have nothing to complain about. And that's just for me. It's like one of those things where, someone asks me how I'm doing and I say I'm good, can't complain. And it's one of those things, if you can complain, if you're able to complain, then that means you're able to do something about it. So if you don't participate, what are you complaining for? You have, to me, you really have no say-so because you didn't participate. And that's just me. That's just how I'm thinking. I mean, I know you can't participate in everything all the time, but putting your best foot forward and participating in things that you can, yeah, it makes a difference, no matter how small.
Correct.
I'm just saying, little things lead up to big things. Little events lead up to a bigger event. Little problems lead up to one big problem, or, several big problems.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Go ahead, start these rising shout outs so we can get into the info.
My bad.
So Grand Rising to Big Nelsa, Brandon 3, Celestial Love, Copper Colored Ancestor, Original Tillers, Phoenix Rose, Tiny Ofo Ofofo, Michael Brown Harris Cheek, Feathered Dragon, Nature's Void. And as I see more of them pop on the screen, I'll make sure to call them out. Pulling a link so I can post them in the chat real quick. Give me 5-10 seconds.
Peace to the chat. Is we live?
We're not only live, we all the way live. All right,
All
both of
the
them.
way live.
It's all the way live.
All right, first link is in both chats.
Oh, I'm ready. Ready?
And whenever y'all get it pulled up, we can start. The first information that we're doing from the USA is it's called youth loans. Again, loans for youth in particular fields of farming and education.
Wow. Okay. So we got targeted farm loans and youth loans is one of those targeted farm loans. Okay.
You know proof ain't a problem. We're gonna constantly keep dropping all these USDA programs. Somebody in our community can use them.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So FSA. What's FSA stand for?
Wait. Oh.
Birds chirping. I think they know.
Farm
Farm
Services of America. I'm sorry about that.
No, you good. So Farm Services of America. Gabrielle, you reading?
Yeah, I got you. All right, youth loans. FSA makes loans to individual young persons to start and operate income-producing projects of modest size in connection with their participation in 4-H clubs, FFA, a tribal youth group, or similar agricultural youth organization. The project being financed with an FSA youth loan needs to provide an opportunity for the young person to acquire experience in education and agriculture-related skills. The youth loan application requires a recommendation from a project advisor who verifies that he or she will sponsor the loan applicant, has the correct training and experience to supervise your project, and is available to help whenever needed. If you are between the ages of 10 and 20 years at the time of loan closing, parents and or legal guardians must consent to the loan application. Young people applying for a youth loan are personally responsible for repaying the loan. A co-signer is required only if the project shows possible difficulty in repaying the loan or does not meet security requirements. Really, this is a program to
One more time, please. What key information one more time? For the nosebleeds.
You want me to read the whole thing over again?
You can. But it was
right.
just that point that you pointed out.
If you are between the ages of 10 and 20 years at the time of the loan closing, parents and or legal guardians must consent to the loan application. Young people applying for a youth loan are personally responsible for repaying the loan. A cosigner is required only if the project shows possible difficulty in repaying the loan and does not meet the security requirements.
Very interesting. Duly noted. Check.
Yeah. And it's really interesting because I've seen, things on the news and different articles where someone who is under the age of 18 starts a program and gets funding for it. I've seen it where it's 12-year-olds who start a program and get funding for it. Resources. So it has a link for the application forms. Resources. Meet a Farmer, Nicole Jargensen in Montana. FSA Youth Coloring Book, FSA Youth Activity Sheet, Educational Resources for Children, Parents, and Teachers. Farm Answers. All FSA direct loan applications require the same basic forms. When you meet with your FSA County Farm Loan Program staff, you may be asked to complete additional forms based on applicable loan program requirements for the loan type. Youth loan funds must be used only to pay the expenses associated with an approved project. Buy livestock, seed, equipment, and supplies. Buy, rent, or repair needed tools and equipment. Pay operating expenses for the project. Project requirements. To be approved, project to be financed must be able to produce sufficient income to repay the loan amount plus accrued interest in full, be related to agriculture, be educational, be part of an organized and supervised program, not be a non-eligible enterprise. Did I skip? Okay, no, I did that one.
They laying it out. They laying it out for you.
Mm-hmm. Applicant eligibility requirements. In addition to the item listed for project requirements, youth loan applicants also must be a United States citizen, non-citizen national, or qualified legal alien, have no controlled substance convictions, have no past due debt problem, have not caused the government a financial loss on previous loan assistance, have not received debt forgiveness from FSA. Non-eligible enterprises. Youth loan funds may not finance exotic animals, birds, or fish not normally associated with agricultural production, non-farm animals, birds, or fish ordinarily used for pets, companionships, or pleasure, market or process farm products, goods, or services not produced by the youth loan applicant, even if it might be agriculturally related. Maximum loan amount is $5,000. There are no minimum loan amount requirements. Repayment term. Repayment periods vary from 1 to 7 years. The length of the loan depends on the amount of the loan purpose, and the project. Interest rates. Youth loans accrue at the same interest rate as the direct operating loan rate. Loan applicants receive the advantage of always being charged the lower rate in effect at the time of the loan approval or loan closing. Interest rates are calculated and posted the first of each month. Additional information. We encourage you to contact your local office or USDA Service Center to learn more about our program and the information you will need for a complete application. You also should be able to find a listing in the telephone directory in the section set aside for government public organizations of the United States Department of Agriculture, Farm Service Agency. Our local FSA offices are happy to help you.
What you think about that? Youth loan programs.
And I find it real interesting that they're, the max loan amount is 5,000. So it's basically saying, for a child, for a young person, not to put so much on them, that they can start something small and expand from there. But it gives them
with the opportunity of getting a 5-year window to pay it back. I mean, up to 7 years to pay it back.
Right.
You talk about 7 years to pay back $5,000. If that ain't lenient.
And not just that, it's saying basically off the interest rates, it's gonna be charged the lower rate. If I'm remembering correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm remembering correctly, when it comes to the USD loans, we read, if I'm remembering correctly, it said 1 to 3% interest rate that they were going to utilize.
Lowest interest rate, yes, the lowest interest rate you can probably think of out there, yeah. So it's not like a regular loan when you deal with these USDA loans, and with certain programs, depending on the age, some of them become forgivable where you don't pay them back, period. That's just like if you're using it to build assisted living for our elders. Remember what they tell you, if they living in there permanently, if that's their home, you don't ever pay that back. If you design this place to be assisted living for elderly for 40 years, if you got $100,000 to
one
build,
more time, please,
don't pay it back. If you got $100,000 to build assisted living for our elderly, to build them a community, we don't pay it back. You don't have to pay it back. It tells you don't pay it back as long as you're building for the community. The payments come back in when you want to do other things, when you're not building for the benefit of said community.
Now, I just clicked on the link to their farm loan, USDA direct loan interest rate. It says effective as of February 1st, 2020. Farm operating direct. The interest rate on whatever loan you get is 2.625%. So 2%, 2.5%, a little over half. Farm operating microloan, 2.625%. Farm ownership direct, 3.250%. Farm ownership microloan, 3.250%. Farm ownership direct joint financing, 2.500%. Farm ownership down payment, 1.500%. Emergency loan amount of actual loss, 3.625%. And that's effective February 1st, 2020.
So in cases where our payments made back on these USDA loans, 1 to 3% in interest.
Yeah.
Expanding them over long periods of years.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the ones where they were offering $20,000 to $30,000, but giving windows of 30 years to pay it back. And in most of them cases, the person hit 62, it becomes forgivable. Again, it depends on what you are accessing it for. If we use this with the sole intention on rebuilding our communities, that the benefit goes to all of us of our communities, then we can do this. You don't have to worry about having super high capital, because our sweat equity becomes the capital. Quick update. Parts of the website has finished updating, so the global chat and everything should be popping back up for everyone. And other features, new features will be coming online as it finishes.
Yeah. May I read the next one? Are we ready? Are we ready?
Yeah, I'm posting it in the chats right now.
You know, the link. Okay. Let me stop clicking.
If you pulled up the link, look to your neighbor and say, I got it. And I love it.
I
Link
got it.
Posted in all 3 chats.
Word up.
All right, I'm ready if y'all ready.
Grand Rising, power to
Be ready. You gotta get ready.
Who was that that stepped in the room?
No, power to 9 on Twitch.
Peace to the chat. All right, I'm ready. This next one is also from fsa.usda.gov. Farm ownership loans.
Coming in just a little low.
Oh man, hold on.
Mic check.
1 2 1 2.
Mic check. Mic check. Okay. Is that still low?
Oh, that's better. It could have been my end.
Had me turn it all the way down. I get it.
Oh,
Bounce.
way up.
No. Let me get back to the link though. All right. Farm ownership loans. FSA.USDA.gov. Farm ownership loans. With FSA's direct farm ownership loan, quote, we keep America's agriculture growing, unquote. No current or previous farm ownership requirements and 100% financing available make FSA direct farm ownership loans.
I'm sorry.
It ain't no period or no comma, Bones. It's just more words.
And I got to do it for TMH right now. Yeah, read that again. What did I say? No, you don't need no what?
What is it? The gunshot meme rewind. I don't know how. Okay. No current or previous farm ownership requirements and 100% financing available make FSA direct farm ownership loans a valuable resource to help farmers and ranchers become owner-operators of family farms, improve and expand current operations, increase agricultural productivity, and assist with land tenure to save farmland for future generations.
So hold on. You need no current or previous farm ownership experience whatsoever, no requirements whatsoever in that field. And it's 100% financing available.
Yeah, hold up.
To get the farm, improve the farm, increase productivity on said farm, that's like better than Lotto.
100%. I'm gonna read that again. Right back like I left something. No current or previous farm ownership requirements and 100% financing available make FSA direct farm ownership loans a valuable resource to help farmers and ranchers become owner-operators of family farms, improve and expand current operations, increase agricultural productivity, and assist with land tenure to save farmland for future generations. All FSA direct loans are financed and serviced by the agency through local farm loan officers and farm loan managers. The funding comes from congressional appropriations as part of the USDA budget.
From where?
It comes from congressional appropriations as part of the USDA budget.
And that would have to deal with what? Are we talking census?
It sounds like the census when you talk
Wait a
about
minute.
appropriations.
Wait, so when you read and you say congressional, you're saying like Congress?
It's a capital C, so I think they talking about Congress.
Yeah, you know, the people that you get to vote and sitting there to represent you if you participate.
Yeah, you a
Wait,
constituent
that-
of this
that-
person.
Make decisions that what?
It's a capital C. I mean, it's in the middle of a sentence with a
He said a
capital.
capital C.
It's right there. It's like Jesus
Whoa.
and him. And come on now. I'm gonna read it again. That's a short one. Mic check. Can I be heard?
You.
All FSA direct loans are financed and serviced by the agency, that's a capital A, through local farm loan officers and farm loan managers, a hot link. The funding, hot link, comes from congressional appropriations, capital C, as part of the USDA budget.
So this is one of these programs that a lot of people should know about now, the USDA, which is constantly gaining funding every year, that's increasing. And it has to deal with what again? The census? The
Absolutely.
appropriation of these resources?
Appropriations.
So that hot link.
Mm. Oh, you clicked it, didn't you? I knew. See, look, man, it ain't even time to eat yet. She clicking hot links. Come on.
What is cooking like? What is cooking like?
So local farm loan officers and farm loan managers. So what it takes you to is a map, and that
Yeah,
map
no,
is all the states.
And you
My
can
state
pull up
real
the
quick.
direct person that you need to be contacting in your area if you're interested with it.
So my farm service agency in Virginia, Niven A. El Gohari, State Executive Director.
Yep.
I have a whole state committee chair Brian K. Harris, that's Heathsville. Gary D. Cross, Zuni, I don't even know what that means. Charles P. Shorter, Blacksburg, oh, this is a place. Steve Sturgis, Eastville, and Lisa I, Bridgewater. Shout out to, man, what's going on with these hot links?
So basically, if you're interested in it, you can find out more information by pressing on a link and putting in your area with your state, and it lets you know all the contacts of your state that did this.
Let me read this welcome.
Guessing.
Let me read this welcome. Welcome. Thanks for taking a minute to look in on the Virginia Farm Service Agency website. Our aim is to present timely material relevant to Virginia agriculture producers. For a comprehensive presentation of this month's Virginia FSA activity, read our current newsletter. For complete detail on all FSA programs and activity, visit http://www.fsa.usda.gov. That's where we at. Subscribe to the Virginia FSA newsletter or the many other FSA publications. Yeah.
So not only do they have a link that informs you of who to contact in your area, they have an updated newsletter to let you know of what programs and what's going on in the area as well. Am I correct? That's what you just said?
There's a hot link, the newsletter. I'm gonna sign up.
Can y'all smell it cooking?
And I just found out because I realized there was a hurricane that came through. What falls under emergency loans is if your area has been categorized, your area or your county or your city has been categorized as a disaster area. You can apply for emergency support.
Yes, you can.
Man, how many of those came across the email bonds?
Whoa.
I'm getting like 3 or 4 a day in the emails.
Yeah, like the disaster relief has been there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it even extends out to the islands, to Puerto Rico.
Flint, Michigan even counts as a disaster.
Just stay in there. For residents of Flint, Michigan, check out your USDA. They have programs and grants, forgivable grants dealing with clean water supply. Again,
Yep.
forgivable grants dealing with clean water systems.
This says, and I clicked on because it said 2017
I
census.
did say forgivable, right?
I think you said it. I think you said it a few times. Forgivable, like, okay, hang on. 'Cause you said that earlier too about the old folks home.
Hey, I'm just repeating what's in their information.
It's there. This says the Census of Agriculture is a complete count of U.S. farms and ranches and the people who operate them. Even small plots of land, whether rural or urban, growing fruit, vegetables, or some food animals count if $1,000 or more of such products were raised and sold or normally would have been sold during the census year. The Census of Agriculture taken only once every The Census of Agriculture, taken only once every 5 years, looks at land use and ownership, operator characteristics, production practices, income and expenditures for America's farmers and ranchers. The Census of Agriculture is their voice, their future, and their opportunity. So this is yet another census that happens every 5 years.
Yeah, because aren't there also grants and programs and insurance programs for farmers? So when these things happen, that like they just said, what they would normally spend, they would get back anyway in relief.
Absolutely. It's called NASS, National Agriculture Statistics Service.
More funding for some more funding for some more funding just to play in the dirt.
Somebody,
on, y'all. We grew up playing in the dirt for free. We was playing in the dirt for free, getting yelled at. Now we get money to play, to dig in the dirt and grow some stuff.
And some of y'all will still get yelled at, but it's cool. All right, I'm one of those people. We can high five each other behind our mama's backs.
18, 21, 22. So 2022 will be the next census for this. Will be the next year for this census. This NASS, the National Agriculture Statistics Service, 2022. Yeah, 2022.
So also perfect timing for people that's interested in this to start developing their plans, getting their plots and stuff together. So when the census come around for farming and agriculture, they can be counted. So let's say what you're growing, the land that you have, they're going to estimate on what it can produce and what the value of it is. So now at least you can get protections if things, unforeseen things were to go wrong, and get reimbursed.
They've already got news updates. Okay.
Like we said before, it seems like they got a program for a program, they got a program, they got a program backed up by 3 more programs.
Since been programming.
FSA encourages producers to enroll soon in agriculture risk loss and price loss coverage programs.
Hold on, is we still on a hot link?
Well, so I hit another hot link for another hot link.
We got to hold on now.
No, we can go back to the
go back.
first more at the bottom. They have more at the bottom, and then they got the frequently asked questions. You know we love that.
Yeah, man, I done messing with Gabrielle clicking hot links too.
My bad.
Let me get back to it. This is ridiculous.
It's okay. They were hot. Everybody smelled. They were cooking.
Man,
you can turn mine. You can turn mine over right now.
Okay, so I don't need to mention that I clicked the hot link that said funding.
Keep it open. Keep it open.
Don't worry, that's the last one. We're gonna get to it.
Oh my goodness.
You know,
the hot link is in the back chat already.
There's never a problem. Ever.
All right, so I'm gonna read.
They out there.
Man.
I'm gonna read this table. No, I'm not. They have a list of resources and application forms. Everything's a hot link, so I'm gonna keep scrolling. Loan application instructions. You get the You got instructions for all the applications. All right, so yeah. Actually, I'm going to read this. All FSA direct loan applications require the same basic forms. Simultaneous requests for a direct farm ownership loan and a direct operating loan should be combined on a single loan application form. And when you meet your FSA County Farm Loan Program staff, you will be asked to complete additional forms based on applicable loan program requirements for the loan type. So we in this frequently asked questions table. Man, here we go. Seems like they might have some answers too. Loan purposes.
Questions.
FSA's direct farm ownership loans are used to mic check.
1 2 1 2.
Chicka.
Buy a farm or ranch. Hold on, I read the wrong page, I think. Hold on. I'm under frequently asked questions. Mine says loan purposes. FSA's direct farm ownership loans are used to. Are we on the right link?
It was right. Buy a farm or ranch. That's the first
Buy
one.
a farm or ranch.
Yep, that's what it say. It say
Buy means purchase.
Own it. That's yours.
Okay. Enlarge an existing farm or ranch. Wait a minute, man. This ain't the right link.
Yeah. So if you got one already, for relatives that have farmland, they probably need to expand it to do farming and other needs with it. You can use this grant for that as well.
All right, you got me out here reading the wrong link, I guess. Make a down payment on a farm. Wait.
Yeah. You know, deal with a loan, deal with some property, see when you need the down payment, you can access this for the down payment.
Nah, man. Nah, I'm gonna keep going. I don't believe this. Purchase of easements. What? I don't even know what that means. Did I even say it right? Gabrielle, can you hot link us? There ain't no hot link, but I want to know what easements means. Somebody that purchases property all the time might know what that means. She's so silent. She was reading another hot link. That's what it was.
A right to cross or otherwise use someone else's land for a specific purpose.
All right. So you can purchase that definition.
You can purchase the right to use someone else's land or property for a specific purpose.
Oh man, okay. Y'all
Meaning, let's say if you have some land, I want to purchase access to grow vegetables on an acre of your 10 acres.
Like guerrilla farming. Yeah, okay. So using your neighbor's backyard.
Gardens, you
know. Okay, all right. I know what that means now. All right. That didn't even crack. Okay. Construct. Wait, you talking about like construction paper? Construct, purchase, or improve farm dwellings, service buildings, or other facilities and improvements essential to the farm operation. There's a lot of words in here, man. I want to break down some of these words
that you would need towards this farm, whether it's constructing it from scratch, purchasing, or improving.
This thing says farm dwellings, service buildings, or other facilities.
Yeah, facilities that you might need to in the processing of said produce, in the processing of said animals, if that's what you into. Depends on what you're doing with the farm. You're going
let's say I'm in Virginia where it gets cold at sometimes, and I need a hoop house. I need a high tunnel house, right? So I can extend my growth season.
Would that be considered essential to your farming operation in your area?
Man, yeah. Hold on. So if I needed a greenhouse because of that same reason,
Would it be essential to your farming operation?
Yeah. Hold up, man.
And it
You got me. I'm out
qualifies.
here. This ain't even the same link. Y'all done pulled the old switcheroo on my phone somehow, hackers. Wait a minute. All right, I'm gonna read the next one. Gabrielle, you got something to say?
You reading the answers? I mean, what questions you want me to ask? You reading the answers?
Straight up. Hold up. Okay, so hold on. Next one. I'm gonna read that last one again. Construct, purchase, or improve farm dwellings, service buildings, or other facilities and improvements essential to the farm operation. Promotes. That's what it say on the screen. I don't know what y'all say. Promote soil and water conservation and protection.
Yes, you can.
Oh, so you can get ecological with them.
Yeah.
Hold up. Man, pay loan closing costs.
Yeah. You need to close costs on that loan. You use it for that.
They out here giving loans for paying loan closing costs. That's, man.
You name it.
Hold up. There are 3 types of direct farm ownership loans: regular, joint financing, and down payment, depending upon individual needs. FSA also offers a direct farm ownership microloan for smaller financial needs. Hold up. So they got 2 different.
We read the interest rates on all 3 of them types of loans.
We definitely did.
And think about it.
The terms and everything.
Well, regular, that's individual. Joint, that's working together, putting together corporations, you and people in your community starting a community nonprofit for the benefit of the community. Just simple ideas. We have to remember, a lot of the things that we cannot access as an individual, we overqualify for these things as groups. And that we must maximize ourselves. Yep. This is why it's very important for us to start patching up the things that ail us, start putting our families back together so we can get this work done, because it's going to take us working together. What one of us don't have, there's 10 others that do.
Man. I got a question.
This thing keeps going too. I just realized what I was looking at. It ain't even.
You read this whole little ending paragraph, right?
Yeah, don't call it little like that. That's messed up.
I got to. Okay, so you
because of that hot link that's in there.
You read that hot link, right?
Nope, I ain't even looking. I look.
Man, can I read it real quick? I'll read it real quick and go right back.
I'm looking at it.
Okay. Microloan program.
Take your time. Let's break it down.
It says the focus of microloans is on the financing needs of small, beginning farmer. That's niche, right?
Niche.
And non-traditional farm.
You are breaking up a little bit.
Oh, how about now?
What? Now you're going real fast.
How about now?
I said hacker. I should have said hackers. Yeah. Go. You can start from the top.
Okay. The focus of microloans is on the financing needs of small beginning farmer, niche, and non-traditional farm operations, such as truck farms, farms participating in direct marketing and sales, such as farmers markets, CSAs, community-supported agriculture, restaurants and grocery stores, and those using hydroponic, aquaponic, organic, and vertical growing methods.
What? That's on the microloans? What's going on, man?
And that's what you can use a microloan for.
Oh man. Look, it says the focus of microloans is on the financing needs of small, beginning farmer, niche, and non-traditional farm operations. You can include microgreens in that. You can include veganic growing. You can include, like she said, hydroponic, aquaponic, organic, vertical growing. Get out of here, man. Get out of here.
You
All those.
right.
Come on,
And
man.
here it is. I was doing my clicking, talking to Google, trying to figure out ways to maximize the space. So growing things up, you know, what kind of, the vertical growing, different ideas as far as what.
Yeah, it's I gotta send you my playlist.
Let's break down.
You want to keep going with that?
That's questions. You know, we love them questions.
For the direct microloans or the one before?
No, the direct farm ownership microloans, since we on it.
Man, all right, here we go. They got the facts, the FAQs, the ones that they don't want you to email them about because it's already written. Nas, direct farm ownership microloans. Okay. Make a down payment on a farm.
Yeah.
Hold up, man. This sounds similar to the last one that we read. Build, repair, or improve farm buildings, service buildings, farm dwelling. Wait a minute. Farm dwelling. It keeps coming up. Soil and water conservation projects. Ecological. May be used as a down payment farm ownership loan. What? May be used in joint financing.
So, am I to understand that?
Yeah, please ask.
Let's say I see some property.
There it is.
Some farm property, and let's say I just want to get this loan to make a down payment
On a small plot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what this will fall into place.
Interesting.
Let's say if you ain't trying to get major acreage, you get what I'm saying, just trying to get something small to start off with. What they said, starting off, beginning farmers. So you're not finna be going for hundreds of acres if you just starting. So this what this is designed for.
Oh, wow. Ooh.
There's more. But what does it say for direct farming operating microloans?
I was thinking about a property. My bad.
You get loans. You have microloans for operating costs as well.
Yeah.
No sellout would enjoy this one.
Oh, is it my turn again?
Yeah.
To read more, man. This is insane. Are you talking about the direct farm operating microloans?
Correct.
That list?
Yeah.
Okay, so remember, y'all, the title is Microloan Purposes. So direct farm operating microloans for microloan purposes. Essential tools. Wait a minute. Hold on. At the top, it says essential tools. So I guess when you start a farm, you need tools. You can get the essential ones.
We read a link before that says don't skimp on the tools you need, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
Fencing and trellising. Hold on, man. That means you can string up your tomatoes if you want, your cucumbers.
And get the funding for it if you need it.
If you needed to separate your property, if you were using animal agriculture in this, or animal, what is it? Whatever. Fencing. Or if you're trying to keep something out. Hoop houses. Wait a minute. That's the word I keep using.
Yep. Hoop it up. But they ain't talking basketball, y'all.
Nah, they ain't. Look up hoop houses. You don't know what a hoop house is. Hoop house, tunnel house, high tunnel house, hoop house. Double H at A2. H2. Bees and bee equipment.
Yeah.
Shout out to Giovanni. I just high-fived Giovanni.
You can get the bees and the bee equipment. Not only the equipment, bees with the equipment.
Do you see this? It says bees and bee equipment. And bee equipment.
The equipment.
That means them little hazmat suits too.
You know it. No stinging around here.
Oh man, milking and pasteurization equipment. Skip all that. Hold on, nah, we ain't doing no pasteurization, y'all. Hold up, get healthy. Not pasteurizing your stuff. I'm going back to the blood, the blood days, talking about blood types. Maple sugar shack and processing equipment. Whoa, what?
Not that
Maple
imitation stuff they selling you in the store.
that
Maple
table sugar.
Shack. Real maple, from the tree. Not that corn syrup, dyed brown with water.
Yeah, that stuff. Not that stuff.
Yeah, that stuff.
Maple Sugar Shack and processing equipment. Hold up. You can get a process. Man, hold up. There's a lot of other things you can get processing equipment for.
You got to process the sap, don't you?
Hold up. You know that. Okay. Look, livestock, seed, fertilizer. Wait a minute. I was literally at the hydroponic store yesterday talking fertilizer. You can get fertilizer with these microloans.
You name it.
Fertilizer is expensive, especially if you're trying to get a fertilizer with no animal products in it. Utilities. Wait a minute. Utilities is like a belt, right? That's a belt.
No, electricity, water, utilities.
No, Batman ain't got that on his belt, man.
That's the other utilities.
Nah. Land rents.
Yeah, just in case you renting land from someone, a plot or something.
Well, okay. So you can get a loan for a plot in a community garden that you're donating to somebody. You play too much. That's crazy. Family living expenses. Wait, what?
Just in case,
It's like farm.
Some people probably want to have a family dwelling or farm dwelling, meaning
that's that word
that keeps on the farm. So you're gonna have living expenses if you're living on the farm. So yeah, that got to be covered too.
Man, oh man. Okay. I see the utilities and now I see the family living expenses. Okay. And other materials essential to the operation. And they're just gonna broad brush stroke the other materials essential to the operation.
Because if you have a family there, now what essential materials do they need? Clothing, shelter.
All right. It makes sense. All right. Irrigation.
Them plants need water.
Man, if you got drainage issues, man, come on. Okay. GAP. GAP stands for Good Agricultural Practices. GHP, Good Handling Practices. And Organic Certification Costs. Yo.
So any certification or school need, they will pay for.
This okay. So any certificate, look, I was just looking as well at the organic certificate. We got to talk.
Certified.
Yeah, hold on, man. This is marketing and distribution costs, including those associated with selling through farmers markets and community-supported agricultural operations.
So the cost of marketing and distribution, meaning the advertisement, the commercials, and all that.
Banners, tents.
Banners, handouts, newspaper,
ads. Has anybody ever been to a festival where people had their tents out and they were vendors? I think you'd have been to an AFRAM fest before, probably. It don't matter. All that stuff that they paid for, I don't know how they paid for it, but I know how I would pay for it now.
Well, now you know how most of them paid for it, but not only the marketing of it, but the distribution cost, the cost that it takes to get it from farm to whatever farmer's market, grocery store, restaurant, community. They're paying for the distribution costs as well. So you can get finances to pay one of our local distribution companies that, one of our brothers and sisters out here has started or will start. Also bringing more funding into the community. Am I saying this correctly?
Apparently so.
We all got separate eyes and yeah, we seeing the same thing. I think it's the truth. We on the right page.
Ooh, yeah.
Man, pay for qualifying OSHA compliance standards, federal or state.
Hold on,
man.
They help you get the qualifying compliance standards through federal or state, whatever you need.
Man, this is another one of the best links we ever clicked.
Whatever you need.
Oh man, what is going on here? Are we gonna click the rest of these out?
Yeah, we might as well finish it. Why not? You know,
Minus.
ain't gonna give them half and just leave. No, we're gonna break
You right.
all
You right.
down. Proof is
Microloan. We are on the microloans, y'all. FSA.USDA.gov. Microloan versus FSA's regular loan. So they about to give you the differences.
ding, 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 ding. In this corner, we got
Direct farm ownership microloans. No appraisal needed.
what?
Am I on mute?
No.
What is this?
Caught me with a right time the bell rung. I'm like, that goes crazy. What?
This thing says no appraisal needed. Okay, I don't want to talk about it. Verification of non-farm income unnecessary unless required for repayment.
You know, I don't even want to fight no more. Throw the child.
Wait,
I don't want to fight no more.
verification of non-farm income unnecessary unless required for repayment. Gabrielle, what does that mean?
Unless required.
Yeah, unless required for repayment. So a verification.
If it's a forgivable grant or a grant that don't need to be repaid, you don't need no verification.
Oh man, I'm gonna keep it moving.
Your income that you make that does not come from the farm.
Yeah. Come on now. Okay, I understand. Y'all gonna have to run that back. Successful repayment of an FSA youth loan may be used towards the required 3 years of management experience.
So hold up. So you remember the first loan that we started with, the youth loan? You know, the one that if our children interested in these particular garden things, we can get these small time loans to start these programs. And by starting this youth program, it can be used for the required 3 years of management experience.
What?
Again, you can access the youth loan that we talked about earlier. You know, the easy one to get, just following what your children are interested in.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one. Mm-hmm. You can do that in the community, and that qualifies towards the management experience for this one.
You can do it.
Oh, yeah.
That's ridiculous. I'm going to keep it moving. So we are on, in the other corner, direct farm operating microloans. So this is back under the microloan versus FSA's regular loan.
We still on the microloan side. Microloan ain't throwing nothing but body blows and power shots.
Yeah, this is crazy. The microloan program allows for situations where production yield history or reporting is impractical, not relevant to the proposal submitted, or is not available. Wait a minute. The microloan program allows for situations where production yield history or reporting is impractical, not relevant to the proposal submitted, or is not available.
Meaning that you don't have to have a history of producing a high amount of so-called vegetables or agriculture to access this grant. Matter of fact, you don't need to have no prior growing information or selling anything possible to access this. It's for beginners.
I heard y'all was high. So what's up? Oh man. Modified farm managerial experience requirements accommodate smaller farm operations, beginning farmers, and those with no farm management experience. Small business experience plus any farm experience, along with a self-guided apprenticeship, is a way to meet the farm management requirement. So they
hold up. Can you read that one more time? Yeah. I just want to make sure I'm hearing this correctly.
All right. Modified farm managerial experience requirements accommodate smaller farm operations, beginning farmers, and those who with no farm management experience. Small business experience plus any farm experience, along with a self-guided apprenticeship, is a way to meet the farm management requirement.
So they created an easy, accessible way for people that have no experience in this whatsoever to still qualify.
Mm-hmm. That's what I just read twice. That's what it looks like.
So they made a bar and made another bar up under the bar instead of going over it.
It's a free ball. It's a free ball. Loan limitations. Okay.
Now hold on, you got the rural youth loan recipients.
Where I'm at? Oh, wait a minute. Did I click the wrong thing?
Just finished on the self-guidance. Apprenticeship is a way to meet the farm management requirement. Self-guided. Who guiding you? Self-guided.
Self-guided. Let me make sure. Oh yeah, okay. There we go. You're right.
Teacher and apprentice ain't something at the same time.
So last one, under direct farm operating microloans, under microloan versus FSA's regular loan, rural youth loan recipients with a successful repayment history or youth who have participated in an agricultural related organization can meet the modified managerial ability requirements with those experiences.
Hold up. So you can, again, access the youth loan and have a successful repayment history, or any youth who have participated in an agricultural related organization can meet the modified managerial abilities requirements. So just by having children that was a part of any of the agricultural related organization is enough to get you qualified experience.
Come on, man. They just out here
The winner is
who you just meeting requirements out here. Loan limitations. Everybody ready?
You know it. Head to the seat.
You know.
Here it comes.
Shout out to Duale. There is no minimum loan amount. I was reading under loan limitations. Why'd they title it loan limitations if there's no minimum loan amount? The maximum loan amount for either microloan. Hold on. The maximum loan amount for either microloan is $50,000. The $50,000 limit includes any possible outstanding FSA direct operating or farm ownership unpaid principal loan balances.
Meaning, if you have any other one of these loans, they are added all together.
A loan applicant may have a guaranteed operating loan, farm ownership loan, or emergency loan and still qualify for a microloan. Man, what?
Because you can use multiple grants and fundings from USDA.
How is that a limitation, though?
They're letting you know that if you use combined ones, that most of them, they'll combine the fundings to the total, to that total or maximum you can have. In most cases, they'll tell you. And some of them don't count for it, but they'll tell you the differences between the individual program itself.
All right. So we have interest rates. So FSA's direct operating loan interest rate applies to operating microloans. FSA's direct farm ownership loan interest rate applies to farm ownership microloans. The interest rate charged is always the lower rate in effect at the time of the loan approval or loan closing for the type of the loan wanted. Interest rates are calculated monthly and are posted on the first of each month. Wake up.
Still, they telling you you're getting the lowest interest rate, which we know already is anywhere from 1% to 3%.
Repayment terms. For the direct ownership microloan, the maximum term is 25 years. For the direct operating microloan,
What? Yeah.
I did say a number, didn't I? For the direct ownership microloan, the maximum term is 25 years.
Now, I got a question. Did we read that when you get a loan through the USDA, it does not interfere with your mortgage?
Yes, we have.
What?
When we first do,
You breaking up, Bones?
Not affect. It don't affect your mortgage loan or any other another USDA loan.
So, I got another question.
Keep it up.
Let's just say that I go get a loan for the property that I want to obtain, but I need assistance with the down payment and any possible closing costs. And I decide to go through the USDA for the microloan or the other two loans that they have available so that I can cover that. And it, the property happens to be in a rural area, get approved or whatnot. I get a loan through the USDA. It will not interfere with the mortgage loan that I have, right?
Correct. Joint funding is approved.
Man,
Joint
come on.
funding
hold
is
on.
approved.
Y'all out here lying to the people or not? That's what I want to know.
Well, let me ask you another question. Let's say that the property that I see in a rural area, farming property, agriculture, let's say I go get a loan and get a mortgage loan, and let's say it's for like $50,000. No, let me reduce it. Let's say it's for like $30,000. And let's say the maximum amount that you can apply through USDA, through this particular program, a microloan, is $50,000. You apply for that $50,000 and you receive it. Would I be able to pay off one loan, still have leftover, pay for the down payment, closing costs, and still have my 25 years to pay off of a microloan through the USDA with the 1% to 3% interest rate?
Better not say yeah.
Is everything you said is under what qualifies that we already read, correct? That you can use it to pay off down payments, to buy the property, or closing costs, correct?
He tried to.
Absolutely.
No,
so,
see,
yeah, you can.
Well, let me ask you another question.
You try to ask trick questions and they're not working, Gabrielle.
Let me ask
it's
another question.
It's gotta be a yes.
Let's say not only with the loan that I get for the property that I see that's like maybe $30,000. Let's say I need trucks dealing with the produce or whatever it is that I farm,
distribution,
along with equipment.
Yes, you can. They finance distribution and marketing.
Wait a minute.
Man, you sound like me now. I'm confused. We got to be reading somebody else's business plan or something. Like, this ain't no government website. Like, y'all play too much.
Did y'all Google this?
You still use Google if you want to use Google.
This a Wikipedia link.
With those sources or something? Must be the one without sources.
This is directly from USDA.gov. 365 and a quarter.
Even in the sequester. I'm gonna read.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if I have questions anymore.
Yeah, that right. I mean, how many could you have? It's kind of like.
But I know a whole lot of solutions.
Wait. I got a question. Now,
if you had 600 acres.
Oh, you about to give us a math. This critical thinking.
No, I ain't even gonna do it. So look, hold on. You got a real. You about to ask a question for real?
I had a real question, and you
All
threw
right.
me off with critical thinking.
No, it's critical.
Okay, so it's crucial. It's crucial thinking.
Yeah.
All right, so now didn't we read before with HUD and USDA that, let's say I get this property, I get a loan, mortgage or whatnot on a property, and then I go to the USDA, ask them for a loan, and then I go to HUD to submit
For HUD Section 3?
for funding.
Yes, you can. Basically, I'll walk you through it this way. You can register now this farm business as a HUD Section 3 registered business. Then you can turn around and hire people from these HUD Section 3 areas to work on the farm, receiving funding because you are employing people of said area.
Exactly.
Pass the peas, Sophia home now.
Back to be like they used to.
So yes, you can also access HUD Section 3, especially if you're servicing that community.
And now, okay, I got a question.
And
This
the farm does not have to be, remember, the farm don't have to be in the community to service the community.
Correct,
so you can service multiple communities and access different HUD Section 3 registries of different areas.
And now, okay, I got another question. So
how
let's
can
say
you jump in a pool multiple times at once? I don't get it.
Show you how you can tie it in as well.
You gotta stretch the arms
you
out.
need multiple distributors, right? So you team up with brothers and sisters that have trucking companies, and you have them register their trucking companies as well as HUD Section 3 registered businesses.
You lead into my next question.
And if they live in
feeling the thunder,
they can register as residents as well.
Bones' Indian name is Thunder Stealer.
so they can get benefit as an employee and as a business owner as well.
Okay, now I got another question. Hold on.
You can create a question out of anything, Gabrielle. It's ridiculous.
I got another question.
And you answer my question. How you gonna answer my question? No, you
Now,
answer good. Let me ask one.
Let's say I got my farm in a rural area. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I got my farm in a rural area, but there is a spot, there is a plot, there is a piece of land that I'd like to. I have my farm in a rural area out of the city, out in the county, and there's a plot or an area, a piece of land or property or whatnot in the community that I'd like to not only establish the community garden, but also service that community. Now, my question to you is this: could I have my farm along with, the farming and the people could I have people who are considered contractors or skilled in whatever farming skills that they are skilled in, help to work the farm, but also service the community on that property that I may be renting versus owning, renting to service that community and provide from not only the farm, but also the community garden at the same time?
Yes, you can. You can even take it a step further and check said property against county or city or state land banks to see if you can access the property that way as well.
Whoa.
See, that's what I'm saying. How can you jump in a pool one time but land like numerous times?
So now imagine
double, triple, quadruple, and quintuple dipping.
And went over that original tillers bought. So now you find these properties this way. You can also use these microloans to get these properties. So now let's say if these properties are coming in at $500. Yes, you can get it with the money out your pocket, but why not access the USDA, get the $500 loan, get the property. Now you have credit of getting a loan from the USDA, a small loan that you can pay back comfortably, giving you access to further funds in the future. Sweat equity.
Bonds.
Now let me ask you something.
See.
Now,
quick, fast, some questions.
you know what? No.
I'm like, I'm ready.
I know, and ugh. Okay.
Yep. See. Me too. Me too.
I'd be on USDA so much when I log in, they'd be like, "Oh, it's him again."
Hot links be running.
Mm.
Links be running.
And wait, didn't we read that as an entity, a business,
I ain't even finished.
Didn't we read a couple of weeks ago? And my timelines, I'm just going to say a couple of weeks ago, my timelines kind of blend together, so I do apologize. But didn't we read that they allow you to make for the first 3 years up to $1 million?
Yeah, make dollars consecutively for 3 years consecutive on Section 3 resident, meaning 3 years back to back. So if you did $1 million your first year, $1 million your second year, then your income dropped the third year, that don't count. Got to be 3 years consecutive.
So $999,099.
But funding ain't one.
All right. Penny for your thoughts. I give them away, but my wife won't let me. Yo. Look.
Remember, this is personal income. This is $1 million annually consecutive for 3 years of personal income, not business income, personal income.
Right. I get that. I absolutely get that. I do.
Hold up. So what you're saying is you can take on a certain salary.
And if your salary doesn't hit that, wow.
That's your salary, but your business can. I got a question. Man, I ain't got no questions. You asked all the questions. I know you got some more because I ain't even finished that sentence graph.
So let's just. Oh my goodness. You gotta read because I'm thinking. I've been thinking.
So repayment terms. I can't wait to post show now. Repayment terms for the direct ownership microloan. The maximum term is 25 years. For the direct operating microloan, the repayment period will vary depending upon the purpose of the loan. General operating and family living expenses are due within 12 months or when the agricultural commodities sell.
Wait, it's 12 months means a year, right?
Yeah. Basically.
What does that mean? General operating and family living expenses.
So let's say, all right, your annually living costs. So let's say it's $20,000 a year that it costs for you to live on this farm. You have up to 12 months to pay that back, or when the produce or whatever you're growing, whenever it sells. So let's say if you know that you're not selling your products to the end of the year, so you're getting the money from the USDA to survive out through the year, and you're paying it back once you sell your produce.
So let me ask you something. Even with how you explain that, am I to understand that they give you a whole year before you start paying anything back?
Yeah.
Wait, and this is your living expenses.
That's just your living expenses.
Yeah. It depends on what you got the loan for. If it's for living expenses, it's within 12 months.
Within 12 months. Or when the agricultural commodities sell. Yeah. One or the other. Right. It's like
but to start off, you don't expect to start paying back on this in 3 months?
No. Nothing is due until 12 months or till the product sells.
So
whichever comes first.
General operating and family living expenses.
So they give you time.
Yeah.
to
And
grow
look,
and sell,
even the
grow and
last.
sell said products to make an income before you make a payment back.
So
Yeah.
check it out. For larger purchases such as equipment or livestock, the term will not exceed 7 years. So you have up to 7 years to start paying back your general operating or family living expenses.
Now I got a question. So if I put together a whole, like, okay, this is what we'll be growing, this is what we'll be doing, this is the equipment we need, you know, all this is what it is. And based off of going off of this is what we'll be growing, based off of the season, and time frame and the amount, I have that put in place first, so I know what I'll be doing going in, so that I'll be prepared for at least a year from now, up to 12 months from now. Okay, I get this in, this grows in this season, you know, this grows in that season. So I'll be able to produce this and this amount, so that I'll be in line with 12 months from now, up to 7 years.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
That's it.
Oh my goodness. Well, shout out to the
chat. What happened to the chat?
Greatest show ever.
Look, we got eligibility requirements next.
Let's do it.
I just want to say I apologize in advance for the inconvenience of clicking on a hot link.
I just want to say, good.
Goodness.
Shout out to Earl Thomas. All right, so we are under eligibility requirements. As with the regular operating loan program, traditional and non-traditional family farms and ranches may be eligible for microloan financing. General eligibility requirements include: must not have federal or state conviction for planting, cultivating, growing, producing, harvesting, storing, trafficking, or possession of controlled substances. So no trouble. Have the legal capacity to incur the loan obligation. Be able to show an acceptable credit history.
Which that's easy, because they allow you to use you from prior programs to qualify for the credit history.
Is a citizen, non-citizen national, or a legal resident alien of the United States, including Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Guam, American Samoa, and certain former Pacific Trust territories.
Now you see why a lot of foreigners come over here and set up shop.
Yep.
Have no previous debt forgiveness by the agency, capital A, including a guarantee loan loss payment.
Now it's
no prior loan from the USDA under debt forgiveness.
Right, and it's interesting that keeps coming up, because that's who offers the debt forgiveness. That's who basically says, okay, you're good.
Yeah, they're not going to let you get a debt, then get forgiveness, and they pay off the debt, then you come back and get another loan from them. You can't blame them for that, because that's like suicide.
Which it sounds like to me, even down to the okay, it might have been last week with the land banks that we read on. It sounds like to me like everybody, all groups, USDA, HUD, all these different programs are cleaning up shop so that what happened before doesn't happen again.
Correct. Cleaning up the mistakes to 2008.
Right.
right. I was at be unable to obtain sufficient credit elsewhere with or without an FSA loan guarantee.
Now hold up right there. It says unable to obtain sufficient credit elsewhere.
You
So
get
most
denied,
people,
right?
most of our people who won't qualify for regular loans from banks and other credit institutions, this is perfect.
Hold up, man. Hold on. Be unable to obtain sufficient credit elsewhere with or without an FSA loan guarantee?
Mm-hmm.
Bruh. Y'all, no. Nope. Now you're reading on the wrong thing.
I mean, if you can't qualify for the FSA, this is right up your alley. You qualify for this. So they got programs for programs. If you don't qualify for one, they got a step down program that you can qualify for.
Yep.
This sounds like help.
It's the dude in Coming to America with the new jacket and the gold toothbrushes.
What is this?
He got a lot to offer. It's a whole bunch.
Why does it sound like help?
Not the help, but yeah, it sounds like help.
Yeah.
Sounds like you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps with this.
Road to self-sufficiency.
Yeah. The road. Is that the golden, what is it called? This road is paved in gold. Man, okay. Let's see. Not be delinquent on any federal debt other than IRS tax debt at the time of loan closing. Wait a minute. They're going to give you the chance to be in debt with the IRS?
Yeah, whatever you got going on with the IRS.
They say that ain't got nothing to do with us?
Got nothing to do with it.
Yo,
they said, hold on. That ain't got nothing to do with us.
Look, I ain't even gonna front. I don't even want to be bothered with that right now, all right?
You can be damned up with the IRS, owe the IRS money, they garnishing stuff, but they cannot affect or touch what you got going on with this. So again,
USDA is walking away, hands in pockets, whistling down the road.
Can't touch
that ain't got nothing to do with us.
Can't touch this.
Hold on.
Yo,
Did I just hear that doesn't have anything to do with us? We ain't got to talk about it. We ain't got to hear about it. That ain't got nothing to do with us.
I'm gonna read it one more again. Let's see. I might have read it wrong. I could have read it upside down and backwards.
Yeah, I think you missed a word or something.
Let me read it slow. Not be delinquent on any federal debt other than IRS tax debt at the time of loan closing. So Wesley Snipes could have got a loan,
but he ran to Tibet.
he bet on black.
They got him 3 years.
Man.
Always bet on black. Hey, dog, you don't want to be betting on that black stuff now. I heard they were dead in the eyes of the law or some stuff. The conscious community.
But they got him 3 to 5. 3 to 5.
Oh man, I wish I could do that Dave Chappelle line. That would be cursing. So let's see. Not be ineligible due to disqualification resulting from federal crop insurance violation.
Meaning you out there growing something that's illegal or doing illegal farming practices.
Exactly. You might not get another shot. So that was that. And under that, we have our table here with direct farm ownership microloans versus direct farm operating microloans. Probably not versus, but just
letting you know the difference between the two.
Yep. So under direct farm ownership microloans, we have 3 years farm management experience within 10 years of the application dates. 1 year farm management experience may be substituted with one of the following: 16 credit hours post-secondary education in agriculturally related field, business management of at least 1 year direct management experience, not manager and title only, military leadership or management from having completed an acceptable military leadership course, and successful repayment of an FSA youth loan. So you growing up in this. You can grow up in this.
Walk you through the easy things, because what they told you already, you can use the youth loan for one half, and then bring in youth that already been in any prior youth program. That's your 3 years right there.
Come on inside. Y'all need to stop lying to the people, man. What's going on today? Direct farm operating microloans. There's 3 options here. Microloan applicants still need to have some farm experience. However, small business experience and agricultural internships and apprenticeships programs, even those that are self-guided, count toward meeting the farm management requirement.
What guided?
Buzzword. Yeah.
What?
There's a buzzword, Bones.
What guided?
Self-guided. Self-guided. Self.
So you get to manage yourself, and that count as a management skill. You trying to tell me that you can't manage yourself? Yourself, nobody else, just you. You the manager and the employee at the same time.
Man. Buzzwords. Microloan applicants with minimal farm experience also have the option of working with a mentor for guidance during the first production and marketing cycle. That is amazing to hear. What?
Hold on, you got a mentor for your first cycle in production?
Nah, man, hold up. Let me read
Also
that
sell the produce and get funding for marketing and distribution and everything in between?
This sounds like if you ain't got no experience, you can work with somebody. I think that's what it said. Microloan applicants with minimal farm experience also have the option of working with a mentor for guidance during the first production and marketing cycle.
Production and marketing. They just ain't gonna help you grow it. No, you can get a mentor to go all the way through the full cycle.
Quarter 1, quarter 2, partial quarter 3, some quarter 4s in some areas. Hold up.
Gotcha.
Man, it is not necessary for a microloan applicant to have produced farm income to meet the requirements for managerial experience.
So hold on. You don't have to produce no money from no produce to have experience in marketing and production?
So if you've never
ever
had income from farm income, you can still meet the requirements for managerial experience. Okay, yeah, that's what I read. That's what I'm seeing. Oh, Bones, did you see the next section?
Using a mentor.
What is that about? What? Just answering another question. Hold up. Gabrielle's super quiet right now. That is dangerous. We're going to have a long post show. Bones, you can't go nowhere. Using a mentor. Direct farm operating microloan applicants choose their own mentor, and FSA reviews the choice. Any applicant wanting or needing a mentor should strive to locate a suitable person who will not charge for services. This is not applicable to direct farm ownership microloans.
So someone wanting to donate their time?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. But then, now imagine if you did it under HUD Section 3. So they can still donate their time to the USDA, but get paid for a service through HUD Section 3.
Mm-hmm. So you're trying to get paid. Okay, all right. Shout out to the mentors out there. We have next collateral requirements. For annual operating purposes, operating microloans must be secured by a first lien on farm property or agricultural products with minimum value of at least 100% of the loan amount up to 150% of the loan amount, if available. Microloans made for any other authorized purpose other than operating expenses must be secured by a first lien on farm property or agricultural products with a value of at least 100% of the loan amount.
So basically, they'll put a lien on the farm for the first year off of the product, which isn't bad when you think about it. They're setting you up with the infrastructure to make a profit, putting you in the situation to be able to pay back the loan within the first year.
The direct farm ownership microloans may be secured only by the real estate being purchased or improved as long as it meets the 100% security requirement.
So they're not taking any other property. It's only the property that you're dealing with.
There you go. Next section. Credit score basics. FSA does not use credit scores.
One more time for the nosebleeds.
Hold up, man. This is under credit score basics when they talking about they don't use credit scores. FSA does not use credit scores. Loan applicants are expected to have acceptable repayment history with other creditors, including the federal government. Loan applicants are not automatically disqualified if there are isolated incidents of slow payments, no credit history, or if it can be shown that any recent adverse credit problems were temporary and beyond one's control. Quote unquote, no history of credit transaction by a loan applicant does not automatically indicate an unacceptable credit history. Hold up. So you don't automatically get disqualified if you got low credit, no credit. What else they say on the advertisements for car loans? Yeah, man. Okay. They out here still looking the other way. Like, hold up, I don't even know. Just no credit history, slow payments. You're not automatically disqualified. All right. Grant opportunities. Mic check. Is
getting these opportunities.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Gabrielle, have you checked on the chat? Has anybody clutched their purse or
My
something?
bad.
Anybody?
I was being selfish and inconsiderate. My bad. Hold on.
Buried in the links.
I don't see any questions.
All right. Grant opportunities. FSA does not administer a grant program for the purchase or operation of a farm or ranch. Grants and matching grants can be used in conjunction with FSA loans, such as a value-added grant from rural development or cost-share programs available through the Natural Resources Conservation Service. FSA loans may be used with state-provided assistance too.
So basically what they telling you is they don't offer a grant. They just do the loans. But you can also use a grant and other assistance, even state-provided assistance, along with the loan.
Double, triple, quadruple, quintuple dipping. Technical assistance. Many answers are found in our booklet, Your Guide to FSA Farm Loans, PDF 3.47 megabytes. That's a PDF, Gabrielle. It is also recommended that you call and make an appointment with your nearest farm loan officer or farm loan manager.
Put a hot link. With a hot link so you can find out directly who they are and where they are.
Is that the people that we clicked earlier?
You know it.
Oh man, you know. All right, well, agency officials are required to, oh man, this sounds like some rules for them. Some of these people don't even know the rules. Like, what is section? Yeah.
But now you will.
I'm gonna call you back because I don't know what that is. All right, here we go. Agency officials are required to help loan applicants complete FSA forms and gather information necessary for a complete application. Required to explain the application procedure, process, and the requirements for a complete application.
What?
Required to assist loan applicants in completing FSA forms and identifying sources of information needed for a complete application, if assistance is requested.
If you ask for it.
Required to inform loan applicants of other technical assistance providers who may be of assistance at minimal or no charge. Some examples include, and are not limited to, the Cooperative Extension Service, shout out to the Extension Services there, y'all, nonprofit organizations and institutions, the Intertribal Agricultural Council, and other similar organizations. They were required to inform loan applicants of other technical assistance providers who may be of assistance at minimal or no charge.
Required
to advise applicants of alternatives that will help overcome any possible barriers to being determined eligible for an FSA loan.
One more time, please.
Advise applicants advise applicants of alternatives that will help overcome any possible barriers to being determined eligible for an FSA loan. Man, wait. Nah, I ain't even holding that. Nope. I ain't hear that. I didn't hear what I just read. Man, nah. Okay. That's required to. Bunch of things. I like that the example though. Some examples include, but are not limited to, the cooperative extension. Check your local colleges or your local extension, cooperative extension. Just type that in, cooperative extension near me, and it's check it out.
And you will learn that working with a lot of these as a community, it's no cost. Working with them as a community.
Shout out to Jay Yesh over here at the Virginia Tech, or actually the Virginia Cooperative Extension, because that is Virginia Tech and Virginia State. Shout out.
VA out there growing them greens, tomatoes, you name it.
They got hoop houses, y'all. Hoop houses. I wonder how they get hoop houses. All right, are we on suggestions?
Yeah, they got suggestions for meeting with farm loan officers. What?
Man, that's the people that's supposed to help you, right?
Yeah.
The required twos?
Yeah.
Man, all right, here we go. This is suggestions for meeting the people that are required
how
to do
to deal with them, on how to deal with day people when you got to go meet them.
Man, they're not telling me to put a tie on, are they? Okay, here we go. Have a general idea of what it is you want to do and be able to identify your goals. Now, I'm going to pause right there. If you have a business plan, you have all of that information already. So start looking into business plans and the inner workings of business plans if you don't already know about them. And yeah, you're gonna have your goals in your business plan. So yeah, you probably have all of this if you have your business plan. What type of operation do you have or want to have? Yes, your business plan. What do you need to operate that farm or ranch? How will you market your product or products? And how much you need? What are your projections? Wait a minute.
Basically, the business plan.
It is the business plan. This is the first suggestions for meeting with your farm loan officer. Number one, have your business plan.
Go there with your business plan. Don't go empty-handed.
Exactly. So if you don't have a business plan, go ahead and get it together. Shout out to the chat. Please hit us up if you need help with that, because yeah, we on it. I'm gonna read that one again. Have a general idea of what it is you want to do and be able to identify your goals. What type of operation do you have or want to have? What do you need to operate that farm or ranch? How will you market your product or products? How much do you need? What are your projections? Good record keeping is very important. If you do not have your records organized, it is a good idea to try and put all of your income and expenses into an understandable format. It does not have to be fancy. Also, what is happening inside the household is just as important as your business needs. Expenses such as food, clothing, mortgage or rent, insurance, taxes, medical costs, credit card payments, education expenses, and other consumer debt are part of the farm plan calculations. Know your costs. Bring your records with you. What
Again,
in the world?
it's letting you know, they're telling you don't shortchange yourself. That when you sit here and you put together these business plans, don't neglect your time and what it costs for you to live throughout the year while you're trying to get said business up and running. Because a lot of times what kills a lot of our businesses, we underbid ourselves. We don't account for our labor, our time that we have to put into designing it, building it, running it, getting it up and running. They're letting you know in your proposal, make sure you have all this in there. That if you're applying for a grant or this loan, it is smart to have your yearly cost of living designed in there. So now when you get this loan, you're not worried about stressing to pay your everyday living expenses while trying to get this business up and running and pulling from funds out your pocket.
Come on now.
You're trying to pay two different things with one income.
Come on now.
Why not make sure in the grant that you're comfortable? So now when you're doing the farm, you can be focusing on the farm. You're not doing the farm and running off working for somebody else, double dutching, working yourself 12 to 12, no time for family. I mean, that's one form of indoctrination jumped into another.
Yep,
No,
exactly.
let's actually structure it out. And they're telling you before you come in, structure it out. Have your daily cost of living and all that structured into your plan to be successful.
That's dope with it. Yeah. I want to read that one again before I move on.
Let's do it.
Good record keeping is very important. If you do not have your records organized, it is a good idea to try and put all your income expenses into an understandable format. It does not have to be fancy. Also, what is happening inside the household is just as important as your business needs. Expenses such as food, clothing, mortgage or rent, insurance, taxes, medical costs, credit card payments, education expenses, and other consumer debt are part of the farm plan calculations. Know your costs. Bring your records with you. Remember to bring any financial records, which can include tax returns for the most recent production cycle, to assist in projecting the cash flow for your loan proposal. If you need to rely on off-farm income to repay the loan, bring in your last few pay stubs.
Again, a walkthrough of everything that you should check off before you even attempt to meet and sit down to discuss the loan.
Yep, with the farm loan officer, yeah. So, blueprint right here, y'all. Playbook right here, y'all. Bring copies of any written leases to the office with you if you are leasing land or equipment. Make sure you have that with you. It is a prudent idea to check your credit report before applying for a loan. This allows you to spot any errors or research events that may have negatively impacted your credit. The Fair Credit Reporting Act, FCRA, requires each of the nationwide credit reporting companies, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, to provide you with a free copy of your credit report at your request once every 12 months. The FCRA promotes the accuracy and privacy of information in the files of the nation's credit reporting companies. The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, the nation's consumer protection agency, enforces the FCRA with respect to credit reporting companies. and additional information. We encourage you to contact your local office or USDA service center to learn more about our programs.
Encourage,
Implore, behoove. It would behoove you.
Click the link. That's what they saying,
It's the hot link.
but not
You
us.
should. We got to go back to the other one and finish them links. You should also be able to locate a listing in the telephone directory in the section set aside for government/public organizations under the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Farm Service Agency. Our local FSA office staffs are happy to help you and discuss our loan programs with you in more detail. All right then, y'all.
Okay, thoughts on what we just went through with microloans?
That's ridiculous. That ain't right. So I want to go back and reread these tables real quick because they weren't that extensive. But under the microloan, so we just read microloan programs, right? That's what we're, and matter of fact, I'm gonna read it again. The focus of microloans is on the financial needs of small beginning farmer, niche and non-traditional farm operations such as truck farms, farm participating in direct marketing and sales such as farmers markets, CSAs, which is community supported agriculture, restaurants and grocery stores, or those using hydroponic, aquaponic, organic, veganic, and vertical growing methods. So yeah, that's what the microloans, that's one of the things that it does. Okay, so the direct farm ownership microloans are used to make a down payment on a farm, build, repair, or improve farm buildings, service buildings, farm dwellings, soil and water conservation projects, may be used as a down payment farm ownership loan, and may be used as joint financing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you need there. And then direct farm operating microloans. So this is also the purpose of these microloans. Essential tools, fencing and trellising, hoop houses, bees and bee equipment, milking and pasteurization equipment, maple sugar shack and processing equipment, livestock, seed, fertilizer, utilities, land rents, family living expenses, and other materials essential to the operation.
Can I throw something in there real quick?
Do it.
Because I actually like maple syrup, like organic maple syrup. And I did some digging and reading onto it. Mm-hmm. When you have maple trees, a bunch of maple trees, you put this little pike in the side of it that drips to these hoses, and these hoses taps. Fill up these jars. Yeah, taps. There you go. And basically the sap from the maple trees go into these hoses, and these hoses fill up these jars. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, all that's gonna be it could be paid for with the microloan.
I'm just saying.
If you grow that tree organically, you got yourself some organic maple syrup.
Yeah,
Much.
I gotta get some more jars.
Jar lady, you got hurt your back. Grabbing all them jars like that.
I got to get some more jars and labels. I ain't even joking. Man.
You were a Marine in your former life.
Church's money.
You're a jarhead. Hold on, let me read what else this stuff is used for, man. This is insane to me. I'm finished. And I'm done. I'm mute. And direct loan operating microloan. So essential tools, fencing and trellising, hoop houses, bees and bee equipment, milking and pasteurization equipment, maple sugar shack and processing equipment, livestock, seed, fertilizer, utilities, land rents, family living expenses, and other materials essential to the operation. Irrigation, good agricultural practices, GAP, good handling practices, GHP, and organic certification costs, marketing and distribution costs, including those associated with selling through farmers markets and community-supported agricultural operations. Huh?
When it's talking about GAP, GHP, and and organic certification costs.
Mm-hmm. Like cert costs, certification costs
Right.
paid for certifications.
Okay. Quick question. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Marketing and distribution costs, including those associated with selling through farmers markets and community-supported agricultural operations, and pay for qualifying OSHA compliance standards, federal
Now,
or state.
when you say marketing, okay, and distribution costs, marketing is something falls somewhat under a type of advertisement, so to speak.
Yeah.
Correct. Commercials, ads.
Okay. Flyers, colors,
pop-ups, right?
like
Would that support? Like if you wanted to do a pop-up, if you had a little let's say you
button
did a
stickers.
Man, come on, let's go.
Even website design, because that's a part of marketing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Refrigerator magnets.
You place it with
anything dealing with marketing.
Keychain. Okay.
Marketing of the product, yes.
T-shirts. Hats.
I mean,
yes.
How about this? Go to your local gift shop at your local theme park, and then all of that stuff is marketing. That's all the stuff. That's all the stuff you can have.
Okay. Now, distribution costs. Is that like?
That's like what Bones was saying earlier. If you got
trucks,
a family member or a friend or a business partner that has a truck, and come on, man. Come on, man. You ain't even gotta own your distribution. Come on, man.
Now, farmers market. That is
including those associated with selling through farmers markets and community-supported agricultural operations.
This way. You
I
set
just
up
want to make sure this wasn't a Wikipedia.
Community farm somewhere, access a couple of these land banks, turn that land into farmers markets. You have this one farm supply these farmer markets in these communities.
Now, and when it said marketing as well, so would that count for Gabrielle's idea for chairs and other items?
Yes.
Yes, it will.
Hold up. So they'll help her sell her stuff?
Yes, and get it there to be sold.
Y'all play too much, man. This is just not for this. It's 10:27. Is it time to go yet?
Look, I'm thinking about refrigerator magnets, posters, the little keychain things that you can hang around your neck.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about,
local gift shop.
Yes. I'm telling you, I got the resin on deck. I'm laughing, but it's so true.
But yeah, it is true. That's what's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm tripping because I'm like, okay, yeah. Everybody can benefit from this. No one person will come up more than the other. Everyone can benefit from this together.
Yeah. This isn't
everybody's
like
creativity come together, management come together. Oh man.
And that is just microloan programs, y'all. That was like I'm getting off this page. We ain't even supposed to be over here.
That ain't right.
I'm going back because I don't even remember where I was at all. Okay, now I do.
Going.
Bones, that's what I think about microloans. Reread the chart.
Going back to farm ownership. I'm just saying, this is okay. Here's my thoughts.
You did it. You did it already. It's 10:29. We ain't never gonna finish because you talking my thoughts. And one more time, and one more, and then I got one more. You got 16 thoughts. Go ahead. It's your turn.
We ain't never gonna have enough. The fact that they have a program to assist you, like factor in your living expenses. So you live on this farm. So you would factor in your living expenses, and you gotta.
No, I think you can live off the farm, right?
Right.
You ain't gotta live on the farm. That's your living expenses if you're paying a mortgage or a rent.
Okay, so I'm gonna live on the farm.
Some people will.
I'm gonna live on the farm.
Bones, what was one of your examples of if you hire a staff member or if you have somebody who is going to run the farm for you, let's say you're not able to, you're disabled, that wasn't something you wanted to do, was be a farmer, you can actually hire a person that's qualified.
Wait, didn't we read a couple of weeks ago? And I'm just saying a couple of weeks ago that they had a program for disabled people.
Yeah.
Am I remembering wrong?
You're remembering correct. I don't know if it was a couple of weeks ago though. I think it was.
Yeah,
recent.
I'm like I said, my timelines is kind of smushed together, so I'm just using a couple of weeks ago. It could have been, I think it was it last week?
Ago.
About a
I'm
week
not sure.
ago.
It was documented. I know that too much.
Yeah, I mean, these programs, these fundings, these programs, these.
What you mean these programs?
They all run together. They work together. And what's crazy is, and again, if I'm remembering wrong, it does not stop you if you participate in one program for one loan and you go for another program for another loan. They don't cancel each other out. So if I were to go through this program to get this microloan, the USDA has several loan programs. You can go through the USDA as long as you don't have debt and you fall under the requirements. It doesn't cancel out a previous loan under a different program that you're participating in, along with HUD. HUD doesn't cancel out USDA. USDA doesn't cancel out HUD. I mean, this is awesome.
It's amazing. I was gonna use a word too. A2.
Hey, this is awesome. I'm just saying, this is reassuring that, hey, look, I want to get this loan. What can I do to get this loan? Let me know if I meet the requirements. Even with us reading these requirements, what makes you eligible or ineligible, or whatever the case may be, you can still go to the people at your local office and say, hey, look, this is what I want to do. I want to get this loan. I want to get this loan for this amount. Here's what I have. I have my business plan. This is what I'd like to do. This is the property that I'd like to obtain, or this is the property that I have, and this is what I need assistance with. What do I need to do to get this going? And then once you let me know what I need to do to get this going, whatever issues you may or may not go through, hey, look, this is what's going on in my life. This is what's going on with this. I need help with this. I mean,
So, Bones, I have a question. Man, did I just lose the question?
Okay. What's up? I can see clearly now.
Oh man, I forgot it.
I feel like I'm having a malfunction. Too many songs are playing.
Overload. Let's see. I'm trying to think.
And just to see that they've implemented this to also get children, young people involved. So it doesn't just stop with adulthood, so to speak. This is something that you can invest, not just yourself, but also your children, nieces and nephews, younger people in the community, in the neighborhoods. Let the parents of those children aware of the programs and what can be done. You know what I mean? And it's not just about the programming and funding. This also teaches a form of responsibility and self-sufficiency, if that makes sense.
Correct.
At a very young age. The fact that you can be as young as 10 years of age.
Wow.
So at 10, you can be learning not only management, you can be learning business. You can be learning a money management, money budgeting. You know what I mean? You can be learning. It's.
Now, Bones, are these for the individual? Or would these be possible, these microloans, for a group or nonprofit group or
you can do it individual, you can do it as a nonprofit group, you can do it as a profit company. It's up to you.
Even under the joint, you can do it as the nonprofit, or like, let's say if it's you and a friend or you and a spouse.
I've seen a question from Big Nelson in the chat. She said, Cat, what do you do when you got people around you who are saying you can't do it? Well, basically,
I was about to say the same thing, Gabriel.
Do it yourself.
And almost cussed.
to the information, and if they don't want to accept it and do it, you work with those who are willing.
Oh, Jafrida 59 says, how about bad credit? It's not based off of bad or good credit.
Nope, we read that. Do we need to go back to it?
Yeah, and even look at it like this with credit. If you're doing it as a business, your personal credit does not affect that business credit.
Right.
So if you did a nonprofit, that's the clean EIN that you would be accessing these programs through.
Say it one more time, Bounce, please.
Again, that's why we say a lot of times, if we do this as a community, meaning if we set up nonprofits and for-profit institutions, you're working with EINs that's not attached to your personal credit. Mm-hmm. You're working with a business now. So you'll be accessing these programs under a business EIN.
And I'm going to read this credit score basics under the microloans. FSA, go ahead.
And just remember, they gave you how you get that credit by either working with youth and accessing a youth grant, or bringing in youth that was already in the agricultural program. That's how you get that credit. That's why we started with the youth loan first. And you can go ahead, no sell out.
All right, so credit score basics. FSA does not use credit scores. Loan applicants are expected to have acceptable repayment history with other creditors, including the federal government. Loan applicants are not automatically disqualified if there are isolated incidents of slow payments, no credit history, or if it can be shown that any recent adverse credit problems were temporary and beyond one's control. Quote unquote, no history of credit transaction by a loan applicant does not automatically indicate an unacceptable credit history. So I'm just reading where they mention credit.
So basically, if I'm to understand this correctly, they're not necessarily going off your credit, but what they are going off of is where are you at now, and what you want to do, and where are you going with it. How can you ensure that, okay, this is your business plan, this is what you want to do, this is the funding that you want, and in 12 months, depending on what it is, 12 months, in a year's time, a year to 7 years time, will you be able to, based off of us setting you up, we're going to set you up, can you pay this back?
Yeah, off your business plan, off your model.
Right.
And they walk you through. Also, you can get funding for the marketing and distribution of, so yeah, it's basically forming your business plan, your bylaws, your constitutions, and being disciplined and sticking to it. Mm-hmm. You know, that's just like if you design them as nonprofits, you design it in the Constitution to where these institutions outlast us. We design them to do what they're supposed to do, take care of and protect our communities. That's how we guarantee that they don't get distorted. How it sticks to the purpose. We make sure in the Constitution that it's written that these institutions are designed to do this. Again, we are limited only by our creativity.
Facts.
Yeah, Mr. TJ, if you had workers, look at it this way. Let's say if you had workers from said area that qualify for HUD Section 3, and you employing them, and it comes out for a better environment to have a housing structure closer to the area. You can also access HUD Section 3 and USDA and other programs to get them living quarters built, and still servicing a community, improving a community. Remember, there's grants and funding to even build all this from scratch. again, we are only limited by our creativity and our willingness to get up and physically make a change. Do something about the conditions. If there's something missing, build it. If there's something broken, fix it. If there's a need, meet it. I mean, that's all there's left to do, is just get to the point to where we just physically start doing it. To where, yeah, there's gonna be people in our families, people right around us that won't help, that won't listen. That's cool. We start working amongst the ones that do. If that means 3 people in this community are working with 3 people across from another community, working with somebody else in another state, if that's what it takes, brothers and sisters, then that's what we do. Because we only need one. Once we get one, there's a blueprint for every community. We only need one. And it's going to be on us willing to set it up, to get it done. We have brothers and sisters that's already into trucking. So why not start helping them with information on setting up a trucking? Then we can turn around, get the farms and get the funding to make sure our brothers and sisters who set up these companies have an instant income coming in and hiring new drivers from out of our communities.
Come on now.
Making sure that these institutions that we set up, that this income that we generate benefits the whole community, because it's cycling within our community now 9, 10, 11, 12 times before it leaves the community. Think about how beautiful it even gets. It gets to the point to where residents of these communities, they don't have to pay for the produce and stuff if we want it. We can have it designed to where everybody in the community is comfortable when it comes to food and shelter. And then you make the income by selling it to the grocery stores, setting up the farmers markets, the restaurants, the regular food stores. Again, we are only limited by our creativity. Can give blueprints, templates all day. It doesn't matter if we do not access it, if we do not use it, if we do not build with these blueprints.
Got an idea? There's a grant for that. There's a loan for that. There's a program for that.
I mean, the time of worrying about what other people saying and doing and this and that, listen, history is going to judge who did what. And we've done wasted too much time to even be discussing that. Right now, we see these solutions, brothers and sisters, and it's time to get it. It's time to get it. We're going to let everybody else drown because people want to be distracted. People want to be entertained. People want to keep pushing the drama. If that's what they want to do, let them do that. But we know what we got to do. Because when we all came into this, there's one thing that we all been noticing. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. When people show you who they are, again, when people show you who they are, you better start believing them. So it's time to unplug from the everyday drama that we was brought up on, that we were programmed to be into, and get into these programs, get into these services, get into these communities, start seeing what's available for us to make our neighborhoods better tomorrow. Find out what we can do for our children. There's a problem with our children being distracted. So let's get in here and let's start designing some programs so they can understand financial responsibility, so they can understand generational wealth, so they can understand why we need to produce for ourselves. How we gonna complain about what somebody else teaching them, but we ain't trying to teach them nothing but decay. It's time to stop pointing fingers. It's time to use that thumb and point it back at yourself and take some responsibility. If your neighborhood is broken, then fix it. If the children are distracted, then we give them something to focus on. If the books are wrong, then we rewrite new ones and put the correct information in there. What's stopping us from writing a book? What's stopping us from having a genealogy society? What's stopping us from feeding ourselves? What's stopping us from producing again? What's stopping us from being great? No one but ourselves. So once we learn how to get over ourselves, it's beautiful. But again, it takes us not just talking about it, not just putting this in mainstream. It takes us being active with it as well. Movement means somebody has to get up and move and go somewhere. If all you're doing is talking, that's not movement, that's gossip. We can change our conditions. Again, will history say we were the generation that said enough is enough and came up out of our shells, stepped into the light and led the way? Or would it say we just kept distracted and kept being entertained and let the moment slide? When science institutions and academia and everybody else is starting to talk about our story, this is the time that we're supposed to turn up. This is the time to step out in the light. This is the time to make sure our images are cleaned up, our messages are solid. When the eyes of the world on us, when we dictate what we show, what we represent, what our mark will be on history, we have that opportunity to tell our story for once. So what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? We can lead today and start checking our communities immediately. Start communicating back and forth and see what we can get started right now. It's still the top of the year. The majority of every program we spoke on is open. It's open. Opportunity knocking on the door, but it ain't no good if you don't answer it. And once you answer it, be ready to give the appropriate answers and get ready to work. Again, whether it's 2 of us or 1,000 of us, we're gonna get this done.
Facts. No questions. No question.
Oh, Big Nelson, that's no problem. If we have to set up to where they're invited in on the call, that's no problem. Like I said, the line is open. Basically, here we transparent. Everything we do is transparent and open. Because again, this is our house. Again, our house. This is for us, not the panel. Us, the American Indian. This is our institution.
Look, rarely do we change the subject when somebody jumps on the call either. We keep, like you said, it's transparency. Like there's no reason, unless we're talking about something personal, we usually do not change the subject when somebody jumps on the call, whether we're live or not live.
That's why there's open access to the form to people who register. Open access to post blogs, because this is ours. We talk about storing our information, collecting our records. But after we built the mechanism to collect and store our records, to let you know we can do this. We built the off-site website and storage that was independent. So no one can tell us what we can store and what we can share amongst each other, brothers and sisters. But it's only as good as we make it, as we use it. Everything that we sit here with these programs and tell you about, we're not just telling you. Believe behind the scenes, we are busting every bit of energy we have to find out how we can break this down and implement these multiple programs in as many communities as possible for our needs. Not the needs of the one or the few, but the needs of the many. But it takes us conversating with each other, with other like-minded individuals, so we can find out the exact needs and address them accordingly. See, the days of fearing on how we get this done is over, because the blueprint is here. The playbook is right in front of you. If we hopped out there in the streets with misinformation for the majority of our lives, misdirected and misguided information, imagine the force we finna be on with the correct information. The eyes of the world is on us and they watching us. Then let's give them all something to see on what happens when the American Indian decides to speak for his and herself, to take on the responsibility of our elders, of our children, of our societies, of our communities. Let's show them what can be done.
I'm with it. Gabrielle?
Yes.
Hot mic.
Why you call my name?
No pass back. No more questions from the chat. I'm gonna read them. Mic check. Mic check.
1 2 1 2.
Where was I even at? Oh, I just did long purposes. Yeah. I'm gonna read that last part again. Then there are 3 types of direct farm ownership loans: regular, joint financing, and down payment, depending upon individual needs. FSA also offers a direct farm ownership microloan for smaller financial needs. And we got into microloans, so keep moving. Nothing to see here anymore. Direct farm ownership joint financing loans. About to break that down. Also known as a participation loan, joint financing allows FSA to provide more farmers and ranchers with access to capital. FSA lends up to 50% of the cost or value of the property being purchased. Up to 50% of the cost or value of the property being purchased. A commercial lender, a state program, or the seller of the farm or ranch being purchased provides the balance of loan funds with or without an FSA guarantee. That was direct farm ownership joint financing loan. Direct farm ownership down payment loan. Available only to eligible beginning farmers and ranchers and or minority and women applicants. A down payment loan is a special type of direct farm ownership loan program that partially finances the purchase of a family-sized farm or ranch. Beginning farmers do not have to identify themselves as a minority or woman, and minority and women loan applicants do not have to be beginning farmers. Man. Yeah.
Hey,
Read that one
wait
more
a
time.
minute.
I want to make
No,
sure I
no,
didn't.
I remember. Hold on. I got a. Okay, read it again. But I still got a question. I'm gonna still have a question when you're done. Go ahead, read that again, please.
I wouldn't expect anything less. Direct farm ownership down payment loan. Down payment loan. Available only to eligible beginners, but available only to beginning farmers and ranchers, and or minority and women applicants. A down payment loan is a special type of direct farm ownership loan program that partially finances the purchase of a family-sized farm or ranch. Beginning farmers do not have to identify themselves as minority or woman, and minority and women loan applicants do not have to be beginning farmers. What's your question?
So, wasn't it about 2 weeks ago? Could have been a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
That we read that they have another program that you can apply for, funding and loans, where it's specific to being a minority or woman. That is separate from this for funding. Okay. Okay. And one doesn't cancel out the other, right? I just want to make sure I'm
correct.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, questions like me. I'd be like, what is this stuff? The down payment farm ownership loan is the only loan program that does not provide 100% financing. Down payment loans require loan applicants to provide 5% of the purchase price of the farm. As established by the beginning farmer definition, loan applicants interested in the down payment loan may not own more than 30% of the average size farm at the time of the application. The applicant must exceed the 30% after the loan is closed. The most current Census of Agriculture data is used in this calculation. The most current Census of Agriculture data is used in this calculation.
They're talking census.
Talking as census. The next one is maximum loan limitations. The maximum loan amount for a quote unquote regular direct farm ownership loan is $600,000. The maximum loan amount for a joint financing or participation farm ownership loan is $600,000.
Say what?
I said $600,000. Direct farm ownership down payment maximum loan amount works differently. The maximum loan amount under this loan program will not exceed 45% of whichever is the lesser amount of the purchase price, the appraised value for the farm being purchased, or $667,000. The balance of the purchase price not covered by the down payment loan and applicant down payment may be financed by a commercial, cooperative, or private lender, including the seller. The financing provided by FSA and all other creditors cannot exceed 95% of the purchase price. An FSA guarantee may be used if financing is provided by eligible lenders.
Basically, you can use programs on programs to get it funded. Just don't get more than 95%.
95%, yep. And that sounds like that 5% you're supposed to put in on anyway. Interest rates. This is interesting. The interest rate charged is always the lower rate in effect at the time of the loan The interest rate charged is always the lower rate in effect at the time of the loan approval or loan closing for the type of loan wanted. Interest rates are calculated and posted the first of each month. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Repayment terms. The maximum repayment period for the direct farm ownership loan and the joint financing loan is 40 years. The repayment term for FSA's portion of a down payment loan is 20 years. The non-FSA financing portion is required to be at least a 30-year repayment period with no balloon payment allowed within the first 20 years of the loan. What? Man, eligibility requirements. There are 3 different types of qualifications for a direct farm ownership loan which need to be met. Eligible farm enterprise, general eligibility requirements, farm management experience. First, the operation must be an eligible farm enterprise. Farm ownership loan funds cannot be used to finance non-farm enterprises, such as exotic birds, tropical fish, dogs, or horses used for non-farm purposes, racing, pleasure, show, and boarding. All loan applicants must be able to meet the following general eligibility requirements. Must not have federal or state convictions or for planting, cultivating, did I read this already? Cultivating, growing, producing, harvesting, storing, trafficking, or possession of controlled substances. Have the legal ability to accept responsibility for the loan obligation, have an acceptable credit history, be a United States citizen, non-citizen, national, or legal resident alien of the United States, including Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Guam, American Samoa, and certain former Pacific Trust territories. Have no previous debt forgiveness by the agency, including a guaranteed loan loss payment. Be unable to obtain sufficient credit elsewhere with or without FSA loan guarantee. I believe we read this. Not be delinquent on any federal debt other than IRS tax debt at the time of the loan closing. Not be ineligible due to disqualification resulting from federal crop insurance violation. Be able to show sufficient farm managerial experience through education, on-the-job training, and or general farm experience to assure reasonable prospect of loan repayment ability. Must be the owner-operator of a family farm after loan closing. So those are they must be able to meet the following general eligibility requirements. Man, oh man, this just keeps going, doesn't it?
And
managerial.
That's the FSA guaranteed farm loan.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, now you know the difference between the microloan and the guaranteed loan.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you can start with a microloan and step up to a guaranteed loan.
That's what it's there for. We're moving on to managerial experience requirements.
Yes, we can.
The direct farm ownership loan is different from all other FSA loan offerings because Congress wrote into the law an additional 3-year farm management experience requirement. These 3 years of experience must be within 10 years of the date of loan application. Whoa, wait, did they just give you 10 years to do 3 years?
Remembering that you can also use the youth programs and the youth to get to qualify for 3 years.
Mm-hmm. You sure can. We already read that. Run it back. Loan applicants may substitute 1 year of those 3 years if they have one of the following: post-secondary education in an agriculturally related field, and or significant business management experience, and or leadership or management experience while servicing in any branch of the military. To gain credit for 2 out of 3 years, loan applicants must show 2 of the following: not less than 16 hours of post-secondary education in an agriculturally related field, and or significant business management experience with at least 1 year of management in a non-agricultural related field where the applicant's day-to-day responsibilities included direct management experience, such as personnel decisions, payroll, and inventory ordering. In other words, not an individual who is a manager in title only, and or having been honorably discharged from the armed forces of the U.S. and or at least 1 year experience as hired farm labor with substantial management responsibilities, and or successfully completed a farm management curriculum offered by a cooperative extension service, a community college, an adult vocational agricultural program, a nonprofit organization, or a land grant college or university, and or successfully completed a farm mentorship, apprenticeship, or internship program with an emphasis on management requirements and day-to-day farm management decisions, and or successfully repaid an FSA youth loan, and or have an established relationship with an individual who has experience in farming or ranching, or is a retired farmer or rancher, and is participating in as a counselor in the U.S. Small Business Administration's Service Corps of Retired Executives, or SCORE, program, or with a local farm or ranch operator or organization approved by the secretary that is committed to mentoring the farmer or rancher.
So basically, if you don't qualify, what's wrong with you? Any form of manager experience, any time of your life at any particular job qualifies for a year.
There's one for you.
Just by having a relationship. So my uncle a farmer,
Mm-hmm.
and he did with this, that qualifies for a year.
The and or yeah, 2 or more, yeah, or 2. No, you just need 2 for that now. To gain credit for 2 out of 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that was. Show 2 of the following. That's a lot of and ors. There are 2 ways to bypass the 3-year farm management experience requirement entirely.
Hold on. Even after they made it that easy, there's a bypass the easy.
Man, hold on. That's the easy button. Right? That red button, that's marketable.
Yeah.
What's the shortcut? What's the bypass the easy?
Why they make this
Can y'all hear
choice?
me?
Nope, we cannot hear you, Gabrielle.
I just found 95. What is this called? 95
Interstate 95. Yeah, this
courses, colleges, and
man.
establishments that offer farm management courses, programs, degrees, and certificates.
And you only need 16 hours, right?
Yep, only 16 hours.
Not less than 16 hours of post-secondary education in an agriculturally related field.
Your technical field, anything, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna stop listening to y'all.
Even if you don't have the time to do that, any experience in any form of management, any time of your life qualifies.
This is not. This is, okay.
So, I'ma just copy and paste.
There are 2 ways to bypass the 3-year farm management experience requirement entirely.
Back to this bypass.
Use the Guaranteed Farm Ownership Loan Program, which works through a commercial lender, or have at least 1 year experience as hired farm labor with substantial management responsibilities, and be working with a SCORE mentor.
You mean the mentors that they let you pick yourself?
That seems real easy, dog.
That mentor?
I had a mentor sign off on something, and I had just met him that day. I was like, wait a minute, dude.
Okay, I keep forgetting. I don't have.
I am your manager? Oh, man, no way.
That's to be more careful.
What is happening, man? Well, what you got, Gabrielle? What do you have?
I just put the link in the chat for the 95 different institutions.
Okay, so that was That was managerial experience requirements. That was very extensive, but it was definitely worth hearing those words. Man, oh man. All right, here we go. Credit score basics. FSA does not use credit scores. Loan app, huh?
I didn't hear you. What you say?
FSA does not use credit scores. Oh, it's under credit score basics, so that's why they said that.
No, I just wasn't sure I heard you right.
Yeah. FSA does not use credit scores. Loan applicants are expected to have acceptable repayment history with other creditors, including the federal government. Loan applicants are not automatically disqualified if there are isolated incidents of slow payments, no credit history, or if it can be shown that any recent undesirable credit problems were temporary and beyond a loan applicant's control. Quote unquote, no history of credit transaction by a loan applicant does not automatically indicate an unacceptable credit history. Similar to the microloan.
That's if you're a fresh new business starting out.
Technical assistance. Many answers are found in our booklet, Your Guide to FSA Farm Loans, PDF 3.47 megabytes. We're going to have to highlight that, Gabrielle, once again. It is also recommended that you call and make an appointment with your nearest farm loan officer or farm loan manager. Agency officials are required to help loan applicants complete FSA forms and gather information necessary for complete applications. Required to explain the application procedure process and the requirements for a complete application. Required to assist loan applicants in completing FSA forms and identifying sources of information needed for a complete application if assistance is requested. Required to inform loan applicants of other technical assistance providers who may be of assistance at minimal or no charge. Some examples include, and are not limited to, the Cooperative Extension Service, nonprofit organizations and institutions, the Intertribal Agricultural Council, and other similar organizations, and required to advise applicants of alternatives that will help overcome any possible barriers to begin or to being determined eligible for an FSA loan.
There you have it. I mean, to me, it sounds cut and dry.
At that point, I stumbled over a few words, but yeah, to me too. Additional information, we made it to the bottom. We encourage you to contact your local office or USDA service center to learn more about our programs and the information you will need for a complete application. You should find a listing in the telephone directory in the section set aside for government/public organizations under the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Farm Service Agency. That was farm ownership loans. And we dabbled in microloans. No, we ain't dabbled. We went over microloans.
Yeah, so if you can't access one, there's the one up under that you can. And even started with the youth loan program as a start to get the sweat equity needed to access the other ones. I mean, so how y'all feel about the info we covered this rising?
You can do it.
What is a not-for-profit?
Oh, don't give me the line.
Well, I think I just found a not-for-profit organization that offers farm management courses and education.
Shout out to TMH. Where's TMH? Google again.
It even teaches you how to be an agriculture consultant and an appraiser. Okay.
It's just another term for nonprofit.
Okay.
there's nothing else, we can go ahead and let everyone get on about their day.
I ain't got nothing, but I'm sure Gabrielle has 1,000 links open, so we can just roll with that after the show's over with.
What I do? Okay.
What you got for closing remarks?
Okay. Peace to the panel, peace to the chat, peace to the silent majority. Continue on your genealogical journey. Gotta do your genealogy. Gotta know who you are so that no one can tell you who you are. It is really, really important. Extremely important. Gotta be actively involved. Got to know what's going on in your community, know what's going on in your town, your city, and your county, and your state. That's how you know what to participate in, what you're for, what you may be against. But yeah, just get actively involved. Do your genealogy. Help others to be aware and help others to know. It is really, really important. It's there. Those resources are there. Census is coming up. Obviously, there's more than just the 10-year census. You've got a 1-year census, you've got a 5-year census, and a 10-year census. And all these different programs and all these fundings are based off of people participating. Filling out a form. Letting people know, hey, I'm here. It's not just a so-called race thing. It's, hey, I'm a farmer. Hey, I'm this. Whatever it is. Hey, I'm this and I'm here. Hey, we're this and we're here. So getting actively involved and filling out a couple of forms helps to assist with funding, not just for us individually, but us as a whole, as a people, as a group, as a community, as a city, a town, a state. So yeah, it's there. It's there. So, with that being said, shout out to Double Cousin. Thank you for these wise words, these quotes. Appreciate them.
Ain't nobody doing nothing.
So, as said before, nothing is impossible because the word alone means I'm possible. Okay. It always seems impossible until it's done. Never tell a young person that anything cannot be done. Our Creator may have been waiting centuries for someone ignorant enough of the impossible to do that very thing. It is either easy or impossible. We have more power than will, and it is often by way of excuse to ourselves that we fancy things are impossible. Impossible only means that you haven't found the solution yet. No one gets very far unless he accomplishes the impossible at least once a day. And last but not least, successful people are always looking for opportunities to help others. Unsuccessful people are always asking, what's in it for me? The more credit you give away, the more will come back to you. The more you help others, the more they will want to help you. Remember, if you ever need a helping hand, it's at the end of your arm. As you get older, remember, you have another hand. The first is to help yourself. The second is to help others. Again, peace to the panel, peace to the chat, and peace to the silent majority. Yeah.
That last one hurt. I got two hands.
I also have nothing to say. Peace to the panel, peace to the chat, peace to the silent majority. Shout out to TMH, Copper, Carrie Bay, James Flames, LJ Free, Brittany, Nicole. Shout out to Giovanni. Everybody out there in the chat. Man, if y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, and or corrections, please hit us up at attentionistassembly@gmail.com. The number is scrolling on the screen always. The line is open. It's not closed. We're not blocking. No numbers at all. Yeah, we here. Peace, y'all.
All
Good
right.
work.
Once again, thanks, Gabrielle and No Sellout, for the work that you do on the Rising Show to make it what it is. Also, much thanks to the active chat and the silent majority, because again, it's all parties coming together to make this possible. And again, as we started this Rising, we're going through some more programs that we can realistically access today, time the show in, to affect our communities tomorrow. And that the only thing that's in our way is the lack of our creativity and lack of activity and participation. That again, we can change this in one generation. We can build a foundation that can last the test of time, that can always be a reminder of what a group of people who decide to take on their responsibilities and provide for themselves, what can be done. So on that, my brothers and sisters, continue working on genealogy. Continue finding out where your stories are leading you. Continue talking in your community on the strength of genealogy, the purpose and the reason why it's necessary. Continue to keep working in your communities, learning how your local government works. Continue to talk to your local representatives to keep their feet to the fire, to find out what are they doing to keep programs in the community that benefit us. And if they're not there, what are they willing to do to get them started there? Continue to make sure that the voice that we were given, that we always choose to speak up when something isn't right and something is out of place. Let's make sure when we see something that's broken in our communities that we take the time out to fix it and care that it's done right. Let's make sure that the way that we are displayed through media and advertisement and sounds start reflecting who we truly are. And let's make sure, in honor of our ancestors, that we are the people that dictate who we are and how we will identify ourselves. So until we link up to the next Rising Show, remember we love you and peace.
Peace, everybody. Have a beautiful day.
What, you don't like work?
You silly.
Peace, y'all.
Oh, wait. I got one more quote. I forgot.
And no, you can't be doing that now.
Listen, this is short and quick.
I already said
My
peace,
purpose in
y'all.
life is to help others. And if you can't help them, at least don't hurt them. That's it.
Well, I guess.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I had it saved.
You got 1,000 of them. Man, good night. I mean, Grant. Peace, y'all.
Like that, we gone. Poof.
Warning, warning, warning. Hard hats, pickaxe, shovels, boots. Required.